The Troutman Police Department serves as a deputy sheriff with the Iredell County Sheriff's Office for 9 years, holding various positions within the Sheriff's Office as a patrol deputy, K-9 deputy, and served as a member of the Special Emergency Response Team. And whereas Officer Jones, prior to joining the Troutman Police Department, served as a patrol officer with the Parkland Police Department, Parkland, Florida, for 1 year. And whereas Officer Jones, prior to joining the Troutman Police Department, served as a staff sergeant in the United States Air Force for 4 years and the United States Air National Guard for 6 years as a private military contractor in Iraq. And whereas Officer Jones has supported law enforcement efforts for almost 22 years and will continue his support for decades henceforth, now therefore be it resolved that the Troutman Town Council does hereby commend and thank Russell Wade Jones for many years of dedicated law enforcement service, and especially for his positive contributions to the town of Troutman, the Troutman Police Department, the Troutman community, and convey sincere congratulations and best wishes in a healthy and enjoyable retirement effective November 1st, 2020. Adopted this day, signed by myself, October 8th, 2020. Again, we will present this to Officer Jones as well. So again, we appreciate his service and commitment to our community and to the town of Troutman. So please share that with him also. The next item on our agenda is recognition of the Fraternal Order of Police for splash pad sponsorship. This evening, we would like to recognize the Iredell County Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge number 10, for their investment of support, resources, and services to the town of Troutman. Most specifically, the sponsorship for our splash pad at Troutman ESC Park, which was complete the spring of this year. This investment made possible an amenity that provides physical activity for children, brings families together, and allows for all around positive experiences within our community. Thank you for the understanding and believing in our vision and for furthering the development of our town's park. Also, in addition to financial support for our splash pad, the Fraternal Order of Police has staffed Troutman events with volunteers, offered facility support for a number of functions, supplemented the officers' supplies and training materials over the years, provided scholarship dollars to Troutman officers, donated equipment, provided refreshments for our Back the Blue 5K of 700 people, and continues to nobly honor Troutman's fallen officer, William John Petit Sr. at the Iredell County Fallen Officer Memorial Ceremony every year, never forgetting his life and service to this town and county. So tonight, myself, Town Council, and town citizens hereby deem the naming of the Town of Troutman splash pad at the Iredell County Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge number 10 splash pad. We are grateful for the partnership that you and the partner you are to the town of Troutman. I've got a certificate of recognition that I'd like to also present, which states in recognition and appreciation of investing your support and resources, the town of Troutman, mayor, town council, town citizens, hereby deem the naming of the town of Troutman splash pad, the Iredell County Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge number 10 splash pad, located within the Troutman ESC Park, 338 North Avenue, Troutman, this 8th day of October 2020, and I've signed it.
There you go.
Want to make comments?
The Fraternal Order of Police started in Iredell County in 1971. Being located where we are, the natural relationship was with the town of Troutman, going back with the police chiefs that were located back then, J.C. Walker and the Fraternal Order of Police. J.C. was a police chief in Troutman back in the 70s and played pro baseball in Europe. And he was one of the first ones to get the Fraternal Order of Police involved in Troutman. And that's where my nickname was formed, and playing baseball back for those baseball teams back then. So the Fraternal Order of Police back then in the 70s here on the baseball fields at Troutman Elementary School has been around for that many years. So it has been a long-standing relationship, and we appreciate Emily when she reached out to us for this part of our relationship to continue and grow. And just like we talked with Paul, it's the little things that happen on these fields and the children to get them out of the house and out on the fields. You never know what memories happens at this age that in 30 or 40 years they're able to look back. So we thank Troutman for that relationship, and just glad that we could be a part of this community and help make memories for those in the future.
Thank you.
Behind you, for the chair.
Right, the next item on our agenda is presentation of proclamation 0320 proclaiming October 11th through the 17th as Emergency Nurses Week. And I've got a proclamation here, and I'll read the proclamation. Whereas there are approximately 167,000 emergency nurses in the United States who have expertise in caring for all emergency patients across the spectrum of the lifespan, ushering life in at birth and allowing for dignified death. And whereas emergency nurses are highly trained to recognize life-threatening problems and solve them on the spot, playing a vital role in treating patients in emergency situations, caring for those in need, and saving lives on a daily basis. Whereas emergency nurses showed their true heart and goal in one of the most challenging years in modern history by treating patients in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. And the characteristics provide a broad scope of practice for the delivery of critical and complex care within a limited time frame, a healthcare consumers of all ages and backgrounds. Emergency nurses integrate critical thinking skills and knowledge of evidence-based practice into their delivery of care and decision making. And through research, education, and emergency nursing advocacy, the Emergency Nurses Association supports and honors the advancement of professionalism of emergency nurses everywhere. And ENA, the ENA Foundation, and other groups around our country have joined together to honor the extraordinary acts of service, compassion, and commitment that emergency nurses provide to patients every day. Signed this day, Mayor Town of Troutman, I do hereby proclaim October 11th through the 17th Emergency Nurses Week, and invite all citizens to duly note this occasion. And again, we want to appreciate all of our emergency nurses and say thank you. I believe we do have a representative here tonight.
Mayor and Town Council, thank you so much for this proclamation. It looks odd that there are 3, but I requested 3 so that they can be shared with each of the hospitals in our county. So these will be delivered to Davis Regional, Iredell Health, and Lake Norman Regional to share with their emergency nurses and continue to encourage them for the days that they show up and do what they do best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is new business. The first item is, or the only item, is consideration for town boards. Turn it over to our deputy clerk. Do you happen to have the?
Yeah.
We have two appointments tonight, one for Board of Adjustment for a 2-year term. And I believe the candidate that's up for review is Tamara or Tammy Catley, Hatley. I was told by the clerk, who is not able due to illness to be in attendance tonight, that Ms. Hatley was not going to be able to attend due to a prior commitment. The other candidate that we have is for the Design Review Board. This would be under the category of in-town member, and this is a 3-year term. And the gentleman's name is Stephen T. Zittle, Zittle. Again, Mr. Zittle is not able to attend the meeting tonight due to a prior commitment. So your options tonight, if the custom was to ask questions of prospective candidates for boards, you can certainly elect to table this issue for a future meeting. If not, or if you're comfortable and familiar enough with the applicants, then you would certainly be welcome to go ahead and approve either or both, whichever way you see fit.
Great, thank you. Council, you've heard the consideration for 2 appointments for Board of Adjustment and Design Review Board. We've got 1 applicant for each. I'd like to hear your pleasure. Would you like to move forward with these in their absence, or would you like to postpone until next month?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like at least see what they look like. I'm not that I'm going to base it on how they look, but again, I'd like to at least meet people face to face, hear them comment a little bit, and if anyone does have a question at the time, certainly be able to ask it. It's regretful that they're not, neither one are able to be here tonight, but it is what it is. But before I feel comfortable, I would at least like for them to be in attendance. If they're not unable to make next month's Thursday meeting, then perhaps they could be at agenda brief, one or the other.
Other comments?
I would concur with that. I don't know either of the individuals, so I would like to have the opportunity to at least meet them before we make a decision.
Okay. Other comments?
I also agree with Councilman Hinkle and Councilman Bryant. That would be nice to just see the person and ask them some questions and just get their response.
Okay.
I agree, likewise. Sit under both alternate positions anyhow, so waiting them up doesn't cause a problem, I guess.
I think we'll table this until next month, if you can add it to the agenda then, and see if we can get the 2 of them there. If not, maybe even attending the agenda briefing. Either one would be fine. Okay, that moves us to our next item on the agenda, which is comments. from council and myself. I'll open it up to council first. I'll start with Mr. Now.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have a report, but everything seems to be running well in our town. And I do want to thank Emily for the great job on Webber Street and Paxton with the light poles. They look fabulous. So thank you for their hard work.
Hinkle.
I concur with what Councilman Al just said concerning our downtown enhancements. Thank you, Emily, and Paxton, and anyone else who assisted in that regard. It looks very nice, and I've made several special trips downtown, really for no reason other than just to enjoy the view. And so thank you, and I'm hoping right now, as Councilman Al said, that everything else seems to be in vogue right now, so I'm not going to tempt fate and bring something up and it'll go awry. So I'm going to accept the temporary minutes of goodness, and again, thank staff as we have did a dinner briefing. Thank them once again for their good job and due diligence, and look forward to working relationship with all our departments, all of us to serve at the leisure and the enhancement of the town and at the betterment of the people.
Ms. Williams? Okay.
I just have one thing. Earlier this week, I had sent an email to our chief and our town manager and the rest of council and mayor about a phone call that I received Monday, and I received some information from our town manager, but I really never did get my question answered, and it was about an accident report, and more precisely a bus accident report. And normally someone from the bus garage comes down in person to get the report. They could not, well, they actually came down here, but they found out the door was locked and they couldn't do it. And I understand there's a fee, and they understand there's a fee online that does not come to the town, but to the service that provides the online opportunity to do that. But my question was, since other municipalities do not charge for the bus garage through the school systems accident reports, Statesville doesn't, Mooresville doesn't, I was told Highway Patrol doesn't. Are we going to charge?
Well, as I indicated in the materials that I sent in the follow-up email with links that shows where you can access the information to those various communities. Those communities actually do charge for online accident reports.
I understand the online. I'm talking about if someone comes in person down here to request an accident report, are we going to charge them for that? That was the question that was proposed to me.
That's, as of right now, at some point in time, someone made the decision to charge for an accident report if they ask for it in person here at the Troutman Town Hall.
Okay.
If you wish that to change, that's certainly council's option to do that.
Well,
As of right now, that there is, I believe, a $3 charge that is indicated on the website that's levied for someone requesting an in-person accident report charge. I'm certainly able to follow up and find out what other communities do for accident reports in person, but the freely available information that I found a day or so ago is that's what I came up with at this point.
right.
I can do some more diligence and find out if other communities do charge for in-person accident reports. And certainly, as I said before, it's council's will as to how you handle that in the future.
Right.
So-
Well,
So I
one
guess,
of the links that you did send me was Statesville's, and it clearly says they do not charge for accident reports.
I will show you the page that, because I actually took a screenshot of it. I don't have my computer here, but it did say that if you click this link,
Right, if you
Or
click the
an-
link,
or an-
but it did say that they do
it
not.
said that they do charge.
Well, so their website's contradictory then.
The Statesville website, I'll go get my laptop if you like. I don't.
But are you saying that they charge for in-person?
I don't know if they charge for in-person, but
That's not the
they
question,
do
it's
charge,
in-person.
they do charge for an online request for an accident report, they do charge.
Right, that's really my question. So I think part of what I want to get at here is, for council, do we want to give direction to staff to charge or not charge for in-person pickup of police reports?
I got a question.
For the school
For the
system.
school system, right, or I guess it would be for any of the governmental agencies. if
Right,
you will,
right, and that
in
was the
county.
question proposed to me,
Right.
that, since we're still, all along the government lines, they didn't understand why we charged.
Right.
I'd like to ask Mr. Bryant, who is our member of our staff that made this decision to do this?
I don't know, it was before me.
Well,
I've been here
Councilman Williams
6
just
years.
stated that we weren't charging.
I haven't directed anybody to charge for an accident report, I didn't change the website, I didn't direct anybody to change the website.
What did you say, Daniel?
I said, I've been here 6 years and we've charged for accident reports
Okay.
since then and before then, I mean, because it was already in place before I got here.
Yeah, see, I have the same thing right there, and it says,
In parentheses, 4 feet.
So while they look at
it's
that.
talking about the above link connects you, but if you don't go to the link,
Accident reports can be obtained online, in parentheses, 4 feet, by clicking here.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we don't charge municipalities a fee to receive an accident report, either online or in person.
I don't know that we can address the online piece of it, because that goes to the outside agency or company.
LexisNexis charges, I guess it would be public convenience fee.
Right. But-
Then I'd just like to
in
make a
person.
motion that if anyone comes in person from a municipality that needs an accident report, town of Troutman does not charge them.
Yeah,
Or
I would
government
say-
agent.
Governmental
Yeah,
agent.
Okay. So motion on the floor, I'll try to clarify that, I believe it, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Now, his motion is that for any governmental agency in Ardell County, that they not be charged a in-person fee for an accident report.
Yes,
Gotcha.
sir, that's perfect, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is made, received a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. If we can make that known going forward, we should not be charging a fee to our governmental agencies.
Ryan, if you would, Danielle or whoever handles the posting on the website, to put that change in there that any governmental organization within the county, so that's part of government information, especially since we evidently, it's traditionally been charging $3 in the past, that at least the governmental agency we no longer charge.
Okay? Anything else, Ms. Williams?
no,
Okay. Ms. Bryant?
Just 2 points. One, I know that we're all looking forward to, just those of us in the room, but as in the community as well, the upcoming Halloween Trail of Treats. Want to remind everybody to stay safe. We're optimistic that it will be a great time out. The CDC does clarify and consider this to be a mass gathering, which is of medium risk, and does recommend highly that face masks be worn at all times by anyone and everyone that is attending or in close proximity to this event. Emily, hopefully we will have some backup supply of masks for those that might come without them.
Yes,
And of course, gallons of sanitizer on hand if needed. So thank you for all your planning and to help this be a safe opportunity for all of our kids here in the town and the surrounding communities. Second, before we gather again in a formal setting like this, the national vote will take place for many different positions around the country. And want to just encourage everyone to go out on 11/3 and vote, or vote early if that's your prerogative. So again, thanks very much, and see you at the polls.
Mr. Harris?
I'd just like to make a comment that this past week, I went out and took a walk around the ball fields out there. And they're really coming along. It's amazing, the work that's been done already. And then I was talking down to my grandchildren, both playing fall ball. I get to see a lot of games. So been talking to different ones about Emily's comment about fences going to be coming along soon. I said we start to see fences going up, and it's amazing how much excitement is out there that these ball fields are coming this year. So I just again like to thank all the council before us and the Parks and Recreation all for getting to that point where we're finally going to have our own ball fields there. I mean, like this year, the teams here in Troutman have nowhere because they can't go onto school properties and use those fields at all. So they've had to go to all kind of other places. Seen a whole lot of this part of North Carolina that I've never seen before, traveling around. So anyhow, just want to thank you guys and the council all that saw the need to make sure this was done. And we were back at retreat and discussed it, just keep this thing moving forward. And there's a lot of excitement for this, and I know hopefully next year all this COVID stuff will be behind us and the kids will be able to enjoy that. And you'll see the park with a lot of young people out there, a lot of action.
Great. So the benefit I get being last is just to recap, for the most part, everything everyone else has said. So I've already gotten a number of comments on the lights on Wagner. So again, great job, not just with the lights, but the trash receptacles and the plantings. It all looks really good. I know Paxton and Emily have done a great job just partnering to get that done. So it looks good. I did see a red truck over there and a lot of lumber by the shelter or pavilion the other day, and a one-man show to do that. And so I really want to commend the two of you for noticing the fact that it needed replacing and getting that done. So looks good. So again, appreciate the work that you all are doing. So much thunder a little bit on the trails and treats. Again, want to make sure that it's a safe environment. I continue to hear how many people could show up. Chief will more than likely need as much support as we can. I wasn't part of the meeting on Monday night, and so I know this was covered, but just want to hopefully we don't have all of Mecklenburg County and Iredell all in the same place in the same day. But I think there's some pent-up demand, and I think it'll be a great event. But again, look forward to seeing how that comes off. It is will be election day. It's an important election in our country, and I do encourage our citizens to get out and vote and exercise your civic duty to do so. So thank you for that. At this time, I'll turn it over to our town manager, Ms. Cruzback, for any additional comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. I guess to continue on something off script, maybe that to kind of segue into all the good news that we've been sharing with each other about the downtown project. The Wagner Street building that the town owns will be receiving some brickwork, some what they call tucking, to the cement that binds the bricks together. If you look close, you'll notice that some of the bricks have been chipping and deteriorating. I think certainly before we decide to do anything with that building, one way or another, that needs to be repaired. And then also too, before we put the mural on, we'll need to make sure that whether it's painted or whether it's decaled, that the bricks hold together with the decals. So next week, what I believe for that work to be done.
He was hopeful to start this weekend, but with the rain in the forecast, if it does rain, he won't be able to start this weekend, so he'll be starting Monday. And we were able to get Patrick Moore, who works with Ireland Statesville Schools, and he came very well recommended. So he came out and he said, believe it or not, your building's not in as bad of shape as what you would think it would be. So, yeah, but he's planning to start Monday. Worst case scenario, Monday.
And I think there's some utility and telephone wires that we're also pursuing, trying to get those are out of harm's way in front of that side of that brick face. So we're keeping our fingers crossed on that one as well. That some good things will happen with that.
Brian, I apologize for interrupting you. I meant to bring that up a while ago when the mayor, and I know all about it. So at any rate, I'm glad you brought it up, or one of your topics. What, have you been able to start, and I know you've been here a short while, have you been able to start any kind of process of trying to develop recommendations of what to do with that building?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've sketched out a little bit of a plan. If you guys would like to review that, either just in advance or during the November meeting, I'd be more than happy to go into that with you. I have a few ideas. I'd like to flush those out and talk to you a little bit more about it. So, but really, since I've been here, and since Emily and Steve and I walked through it the first time, I guess a week or two after I first started, my head's kind of been turning on it a little bit. So yeah, let's get busy with that.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
In other news, the 2020 street improvement projects, which also includes some work up at the ESC Park. The pre-con or pre-construction meeting has been scheduled with Maybe Construction, West Consultants and staff for tomorrow. We should be getting an idea for when that project will begin. So I know that some folks over in Guardian Seasons neighborhood I know are interested in how that proceeds. So as soon as I get a date, I'll be connecting with Mr. Now and Mr. Penny and the council, and so we can get people informed over there about the paving project. The 2018 collection system rehab project, the design and construction contracts were approved by DEQ, which is an important step because then that in essence notifies the LGC or the local government commission that they should be sending the town what's called a promissory note that kind of helps commit the funding for the project that will kind of mechanize and ask for reimbursement as we go through. We should be receiving that information shortly. The completion date, it's what they call the original completion date for that project is listed as June 18, 2021. But as you know, with any project, we're going to need to keep our eye on how that proceeds and keep folks updated about that ending date. So more information on that as we move forward. You'll recall weeks past we talked about a pump station and what we call the Streamwood pump station had failed. It's in the process of having some control hardware rebuilt, and we've been waiting for that to complete. And I'm told that, and I couldn't make up the name of this company if I tried, Gopher Utilities is scheduled to begin the rebuild of the pump station next week. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Is that the pump station or just the pump? I thought they had two pumps with the backup.
There is one by law. We're required to have, or by requirements or a permit, we're required to have two pump stations. So we want to have two that are operational. So there is a pump station that is operational. They're serving, serving down the line. But the other one that we need as required had failed a few weeks ago.
Right, but we're talking actual pump, not, when you talk about pump station infrastructure. So we're talking a pump.
Yeah, I'm painting that with a broad brush.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the actual mechanism itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
So planner director hiring process, I'd like to get an email out to the advisory committee. I believe on the, as far as the town council is concerned, I believe we have Council, Ms. Williams, and Mr. Bryant, who had agreed to help out with that. What I'd like to do is get an email out and start, I guess the first step with you guys is to be thinking, and maybe this is a homework assignment right now, be thinking about some of the qualities, and aside from the basic experience requirements that we talked about in the advertisement, maybe some qualities that you guys would like to see in a planning director. And we can talk more about that later. But there were a couple members of the planning board that had expressed interest, and I'll be getting word out to them as well. The deadline for that was originally identified as October 12, when I had submitted the advertisement to the North Carolina League of Municipalities. For some reason, it went in as October 19. So I'll probably be extending it, or I'll probably be taking them in for just one more week. But we can certainly start, I think, the ball rolling on a selection process. So I will keep you guys posted on that as well. In the meantime, we've, I think, had some pretty good work that's been put in by Jonathan Wells, who's been acting at an interim basis. If you guys have any feedback on that, any comments or concerns, I'd be more than interested to hear those. And so we have his services, I think, in the interim. Well, I know in the interim until we're able to hire a permanent replacement. And the last thing I'd mention is with regards to some water pressure issues that we've been experiencing have been reported from Berrien Springs area of town. We had been receiving some pretty adequate readings over the past couple of weeks, and then we received some complaints, I guess, just in the last day or two. And so, in working with Adam, and I'm probably talking a little bit more about Benji and Todd of West Consultants tomorrow. But I believe we're going to be working with technicians to rebuild the altitude valves at the elevated water tanks. Those can fit within our maintenance budget. It's not quite as expensive as it sounds, but the only thing we can come up with at this point is that it just may be an issue of keeping proper elevations in the tanks. So that's kind of the next box that we're going to try to check and review, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, we'll continue to work with the residents in terms of trying to determine how their water pressure is at a given moment, and try to work with it. But it's been frustrating with us because it's just been a puzzle that has been a little bit seemingly difficult to crack to this point. So we will keep working at it, and we hope that this latest idea can bring us to completion. And with that, I think that's all I have for the moment. I'll tap out if you have any questions or comments or concerns. I'm certainly open.
The only thing I would ask, at least for any questions, can we get a copy of that for our packet, Ms. Grusbeck? Your items, yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably a little bit of that's going to be your weekly update
Okay,
as
great.
well.
Thank you. Other questions or comments for Mr. Grusbeck?
Are we primarily talking about just the elevated, well, you said the elevated tank, so we're not talking about the tank on Murdoch Road then? You said elevated. Elevated generally is one, so,
Yeah.
So but you're talking about the tank, the surface tank.
Both north and south tanks.
Both north and south end. You know, that still begs the question, why just Berrien Springs Village? You know, these tanks serve the whole town.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah, I
just
think
Berrien
both
Village?
of, right, I think both of the tanks, I think, as it was explained to me, both of the altitude valves in the tanks could be replaced anyway, so the north tank could just as easily be serviced as the south tank. So why in particular on the south side, on the north side, I don't have an answer for that right now. It's been, we've shut valves, we've tried to discover new valves, we've opened other valves and toyed with different combinations, and it's we've had Benji looking at it. It's been a process.
So, Mr. Now, are you getting water pressure?
It's adequate, but talking to some of my neighbors, last week was a bit of a problem for some. If Mr. Grusbeck can just stay in touch with them and just kind of let them know what's going on. That's kind of really just what they're looking for.
Okay. Other questions or comments?
One comment that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days, which is related to town resources. Last year, we decided to add an extra leaf pickup day in October. That was a great, addition to the schedule, but leaves aren't falling as early as they used to, and the leaf pickup is scheduled for Monday the 13th and Tuesday the 14th of next week, and there's really nothing to put out. I would recommend that we push the October, one of the October push-ups back a little further in the month, the middle of the month perhaps, and put 2 pickups in November instead of 1, so that the service has more to do than ride around and look for non-existent leaf piles the first week of October.
I'll take that back and let you know what we can come up with.
Okay, thank you.
I will add that, last year, Parker Betty Judd, I can't think of her last name.
Nicholson.
They had, Betty Judd went to Steve, I guess, and recommended that they drop September last, because it was useless,
Nothing.
and then add on to the back end. Well, we dropped September, but we didn't add the back on the other end, so we're down to, we lost a month there, so. But Adam worked with them to get rid of their leaves and put them in their storage, so.
So thanks for that historical perspective. I forgot the September pickup.
Yeah, and they agreed that it's like, there's nothing in September.
There's nothing in September to pick
And
up.
so we dropped that last year.
And I think if we go this route, and it sounds feasible, that, if there are residents that have heavier fall than, weak fall than others, I think we can probably work.
And Adam did that last year, so
Yeah.
they just need to let him know, I guess.
Yeah. So I'll give you some feedback on that.
Perfect, thank you.
See it being a problem, but I'll make sure.
Thank you.
Speaking of pickup, I know the guys have been going around doing the limb.
Yes.
How many more of those do we have scheduled?
They're throughout the year,
Okay. All right.
every month.
Okay.
Yeah.
My wife keeps up with it, I don't. Thank you.
The leaf pickup stops, the last one is in February. There is no March pickup.
Awesome. Yeah, they were doing a good job the other day. I just happened to be out there and talk to a couple of them as they were doing their pickup in one of the neighborhoods, so good job.
Mr. Mayor, are there more limbs out to be picked up yet? Is that?
No, actually, they did it on Monday, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. Yeah,
And this was a heavy,
Yeah.
October's always heavy.
yeah.
And they were here picking up in our neighborhood. They usually run behind Wednesday to Thursday, but they were actually in our neighborhood on Tuesday, and it was heavy. So they're doing a good job.
Anything else from council? Well, then I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would be pleased to make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Mayor.
Motion is made, proceeds to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes.